Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 of the final exam review. All right, so I'm going to go through the chapters and give you a list of questions that resemble the questions that you expect to find on the final. We left off with Crito in part 1, and so that brings us up to the chapter on Matthew, verses 5 through 7. All right, first question you want to review is number 1. What popular Christian prayer is narrated in the Matthew 5 verses? Question number 2. What is Jesus' message regarding the Old Testament laws and prophets? Number 3. Besides a person's actions, what other aspect of a person is the teaching of Jesus concerned with? Number 4. Why are the Beatitudes called the Beatitudes? Number 5. One of the most famous Beatitudes is on the topic of love. What advice does Jesus have on this topic? All right. Sermon at Benares. All right. Question number 1. How does a Buddhist view of suffering compare and contrast with Western views? Number 2. How do Buddha's listeners respond to him? Number 3. Summarize what Buddha means by the term the middle path. Number 4. What are the 2 extremes that we should avoid according to the Buddha? Number 5. What, according to Buddha, is the cause of suffering? All right. Next chapter. This is in the knowledge section, beginning with Galileo's letter to the Grand Duchess. First question. Galileo's letter can be viewed as a defense on his part. What specifically is he defending? Number 2. Central to the conflict between Galileo and the accepted views of other scientists is the position of the sun. What is Galileo's theory? Number 3. Galileo uses Copernicus as an example of harmony between science and religion. Why? All right. Number 4. Galileo believes that science has its own purpose, which is separate from the teachings of the Bible. What does Galileo feel is the purpose of the teachings of the Bible? Finally, number 5. Galileo suggests that certain people interpret scientific facts from the Bible incorrectly. What is his feeling towards these people and this practice? Okay. Next chapter, Aristotle's rhetoric. Number 1. What is an enthymeme, and how does it relate to rhetoric? This is a specific term that Galileo gives to us. Second question related. How is a syllogism used in rhetoric? Number 3. How is political oratory different from forensic oratory? Number 4. How does Aristotle define rhetoric? Okay. Descartes' meditations. For Descartes, is sense experience a reliable basis for knowledge? Okay. Number 2. What does Descartes mean by doubting a belief? All right. Number 3. What role does dreaming have in the meditations? Number 4. Who is the evil demon, and why does Descartes mention it? Number 5. For Descartes, what is the relationship between the mind and body? Next chapter. Hume's inquiry into human understanding. Number 1. What is Hume's definition of a miracle? Number 2. What does Hume say you should proportion your beliefs to? Number 3. When should you be suspicious of what witnesses tell you? He gives a number of conditions that we should be suspicious of witnesses for. Which will we be looking out for when a witness tries to tell us something? Number 4. What is Hume's benchmark for believing someone who claims to have witnessed a miracle? So what's his bottom line? What do we have to weigh? Number 5. Why does he use the example of an Indian who has never seen water freeze? Remember, this is how he makes the distinction between miracles and something else. All right? All right. Second to last chapter, the lecture on Kant's critique of pure reason. Number 1, what does the term a posteriori mean? What's the definition of a posteriori according to Kant? Number 2, what does a priori mean? Okay. Number 3, when is Kant writing? What historical period is this when Kant is writing? Number 4, what are analytic judgments according to Kant? Number 5, what are synthetic judgments? So those are the major key points that Kant brings in his philosophy. Final chapter is the lecture on Kuhn's structure of scientific revolutions. First question you want to review. What is the ultimate goal of progress in modern science? Okay. Number 2, what is normal science? What does Kuhn mean by the idea of normal science? Number 3, even though scientists agree that certain ideas are true, they are also aware that there can be anomalies. What are anomalies? Number 4, what is a paradigm and how does it shape research? Number 5, what are the consequences of crisis within a paradigm? Okay, so a lot of questions. Remember, on the final exam, there will be 8 chapters chosen at random by the test generator, and there'll be 5 questions from each chapter. I've tried to list 5 questions for review that direct you towards the kinds of questions that are on the exam. So the best is to just take some time, review this video, open up your book. If you've never done that, you'll find that an interesting experience, and see if you can't address some of these questions, and make some notes to yourself, and you'll do fine. All right. So good luck on your final exams. It's been great having you in class this semester, and I wish you the best of luck. Cheers.